Yes. This is what Pranab Mukherjee said at the end, which is the sense of the House, or what we accept is the sense of the House, because there is no resolution of the Houses. This House discussed various issues relating to the setting up of a strong and effective Lokpal Bill. This House agrees in principle on the following issues, colon, Citizens Charter, semicolon, lower bureaucracy also to be under Lokpal through an appropriate mechanism, semicolon, and establishment of Lokayukta in the states. So as far as under the Lokpal is concerned, but through an appropriate mechanism, it only applies to lower bureaucracy. Only.
Will withdraw the sense of the House.
No. There's no withdrawal.
Are you going to destroy the sense of the House by this?
There is, in other words,
Please.
to simplify matters,
To simplify
one minute, to simplify matters, let me put it, there is not a sentence here in these 5 lines of Mr. Pranab Mukherjee conveying the sense of, there is not a word or a sentence here which suggests that Citizen Charter should or must be under the same Lokpal. There is not a word which suggests that a lower bureaucracy has to be directly under the Lokpal. Yes, the mechanism must fuse at the top, which is what this mechanism does. And the third thing which we have done, which incidentally is very interesting, the people outside were insisting that Lokayukta should be under the same act. When you went to Jantar Mantar, Mr. Jaitley, you never got up and said, although all of you are saying Lokayukta and Lokpal must be under the same act, we are objecting. Because you wanted to get the claps. You wanted only to agree. But you came out of that and said, here, they are strongly, their written note is, you must have Lokayukta and Lokpal under the same act. You go and agree there, and you come to the House and oppose it. You oppose it. Let me come to another point about
the honourable member's time is
about
concluding.
constitutional status. Sir, fine. Constitutional status, please. Now, it is truly sad and tragic that just because a good idea is given by a General Secretary MP of the Congress, it must be shot down, not on the merits of the idea, but because the person concerned give the idea, therefore you must shoot it down. And as you know, I must read to you just in case you have forgotten. And this is again a case of selective amnesia. This is the representation given by you here. The representation given by the BJP to the Standing Committee in writing, which they call a note of dissent, says specifically, we want a constitutional status to be given in writing. We have no objection to a constitutional status. 1 minute. I know the objection to it. You then go to a all-party meeting. Not a whisper of an objection, have a constitutional status. You then come to the Lok Sabha, and the argument you give is twofold. Yes, we want a constitutional status, but only if you take away the Lokayukta part. And second, that you give a strong bill. Now, strong bill I can't give because your definition of strong and mine is different. But the Lokayukta part, how does it have any connection with the constitutional status? How? The constitutional bill is a 4-clause poor bill, 1.5 pages. It is saying there shall be a Lokpal, there shall be a Lokayukta. The appropriate legislature will decide how does the constitutional amendment affect the Lokayukta point. So you are clutching at straws, you are trying to find excuses to actually oppose a constitutional status. So A, you don't want the Lokpal bill to be passed. B, you don't want a constitutional status for the Lokpal. You don't want a constitutional status for the Lokpal. And C, you want to pretend that you are very keen to have a Lokpal bill. Yes, we are in a dissent as far as the constitutional amendment bill is concerned, thanks to you. But as you know as a lawyer, that famous legal quotation that our dissent in Parliament, which for this legislation is the last court of appeal, is an appeal to the brooding spirit of national interest. I am adapting the famous quote of national interest to the intelligence of a future day when a later decision will correct this error. Because a constitutional status for the Lokpal is the best idea. It is clearly an excellent idea. It is innocuous. It doesn't interfere. It causes no delay. And you are only pretending to oppose it for one reason or the other. There is this famous thing about Vaad and Vivad.
Honorable member, time is up.
There is a third word, sir, 2 minutes more. Third word, Vaad, Vivad and Vitandavad. Vitandavad is when you oppose for the sake of opposing. You oppose for destroying. I have heard no constructive suggestion. I have heard why you must not do this and you must not do that. So you are not doing any constructive Vaad or Vivad. Sir, as I end in 1 minute, just in case I have left out, about the point about the removal. All the clauses today, the removal is of a Lokpal as a Supreme Court judge. His removal has to be the same as a Supreme Court judge. For a Supreme Court judge also, you have to make a reference to the President of India. And the President of India then refers it further. You can't have a system where anybody can file. That's all we have done. We have copied the same system as a Supreme Court judge. Sir, about the section 55, I think you may have a point. If you read our standing committee report, it says legal assistance actually is intended to mean that a lawyer can appear, not free legal aid. And I think you'll be satisfied with that. That clarification, if the government wants, they can give. Legal assistance should mean that, no, because we have said so already, that as framed, it need not mean free legal aid. As far as your trust point is concerned, I'm sorry, you're totally wrong. It's 2 minutes, sir. You're totally wrong. You have forgotten one thing. Private trusts are not covered at all. And I can see that Dr. Karan Singh need not be worried by the scarecrow nightmare which you have created for him unnecessarily. Number one. Number two.
Not worried.
It only covers those trusts which satisfy a cumulative condition, which you have forgotten to mention. One condition is donations from the public, but cumulatively the central government may notify the specification above which number, that is trusts who have donations above 1 crore or above 2 crores. So it is not every trust. It is
Covered under Lokpal. They take donations from the public. If they go
It is opposite are intended to. It's opposite are intended to. You see what you are doing is you are creating.
Please conclude.
The language says any private society trust,
you are clutching at
unincorporated
straws.
body which raises money from the public is covered.
You are clutching at straws and you are creating a fear psychosis without any basis. This is not the intention at all. And lastly, sir, a very important point he made. He made the point, I'm really running, I required at least 10 minutes more, sir.
No,
Anyway,
I'm afraid not.
Anyway, I'll take 2 minutes.
You can come back after lunch.
2 minutes. My friend. My friend raised a point, which is a valid point at first blush, that there are two things. One is corruption, to which he concedes that the leader of the opposition in the other house was wrong. Because the leader of the opposition in the other house said that this is legislatively incompetent for corruption also. He rightly concedes that for corruption, we are right, the competence resides in list 3, entry 1 and 2. But then he says that for departmental action, it goes to 41. With great respect, he forgets two things. One, that there are two sections at the center Lokpal and at the Lokayukta also. At the center it is 20(3) and 24. At the Lokayukta level it is 81(3)(b), which he mentioned, and 85. If you read together for the Lokayukta 81 and 85, if you read together for the Lokpal 20 and 24, first point is it only provides for a recommendatory power. There is no binding effect. But second is more important, very important. The second is that this report, even for departmental action, can be sent only on the basis of the corruption findings. If you concede that corruption is covered under entry 1 and entry 2 of list 3, this is a departmental action arising from corruption findings. Therefore, the two are mixed like a scrambled egg. You are trying to unscramble a scrambled egg by saying departmental action is separate or standalone. No. Departmental action is arising only from the report of the Lokpal, which finds the officer guilty of, or prima facie guilty of corruption. So A, it is recommendatory, B, it is corruption based. If that is so, competence is in Parliament. You have yourself conceded. Where is the question of Lokayuks being without competence? Yes.
Corruption, you can be prosecuted criminally, you can be prosecuted departmental action. If you are right, then in every state government, the power to proceed a departmental action against the chief secretary will be by a central law, not by the state law.
No. Where for an international treaty, where for
Dr.
an
Singhvi,
international
will you
treaty-
please conclude?
Lokayuk,
I'm afraid
yes.
you have gone past
One
your
minute.
allotted time.
You see, you are creating a prosecution agency. The prosecution agency at the center is Lokpal, at the state is Lokayuk. So there are three reasons. Lokayuk will prosecute. I will not go there to prosecute. A Lokayuk will prosecute in the state. The Lokayuk will do it on the basis of corruption, which you say rightly can be passed by central government, and the Lokayuk will only make a recommendation. Therefore, now, as I end, sir, I want to only say this. We are ready, sir, in this, as far as our government is concerned, to stand up and being counted, to defend our actions. Because we have nothing to be defensive about. 1 minute more, sir. I'm very sorry for a kind indulgence. Largest slew of anti-corruption measures is by this government. I don't want to list them. You had them listed. And please, we are neither scared nor defensive because we have the courage of our convictions. We have the courage of our convictions. There are people in this house, and a large number outside who do not seem to have the confidence in our institutions. They claim that they are the voice of the people. But the real we the people ultimately have to reside in Parliament. It is only through Parliament that you can have a stake in the institutions as far as decision making is concerned. It is easy to criticize, it is easy to destroy. Srijan and creation is very difficult. That is why I said Vitantavad. This is wrong, that is wrong, that is wrong, nothing is right. But what is right, we don't know. Sir, foresightedness and long-sightedness, durdrishti means the art of seeing invisible things. Extreme models may work on paper. Extreme models, you know it better, you've been in governance, do not work in practice. History, as you rightly recalled history, it will be a great betrayal and a great disservice to history if you don't join us in passing this bill. History will not forgive you. If you play politics as you have on the constitutional status, as you have on the Lokayuk, history will not forgive you if you are expedient. We are making a new model, and we are not afraid of criticism. Of course, new models, phase-wise, can be amended. You are in search of an elusive perfect to deny the good. No perfect exists. My professor used to always say, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. You are trying to make the perfect, no good, nothing. Have no Lokpal at all. Therefore, I would urge you not to leave all your pretensions, to stop finding excuses. It will take you 30 seconds with some minor technical changes if you want to pass this bill. If for any reason you don't pass this bill, the real cat is out of the bag. And the cat is a very unseemly cat. It's a cat which shows that you have no intention, you never had any intention, and you want to pretend and play to the galleries. I do pray and hope that you don't do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.